am na nag ñoo xam ne ñooñu ñu ngi takka seen ndiga pour sonal nguur gi crisage nguur gi pour isi fitna si réew mi kenn si ñoom nag Madi Jobarteh la moom bokk na si ñu nga xam ne bëgg nañoo taal réew mi nit la koo xam ne fitna la bëgg a isi si réew mi fii ñëpp dañ ko war a bàyyi xel.
The Gambia Press Union rejects a president's remark.
Gambia Press Union has rejected President Barrow's remarks insinuating the media is contributing to the destabilization of the country by giving platform to one of his leading critics. The union said the president's statement accusing Gambian journalists of fomenting discord to bond the Gambia by giving a platform to Mr. Jobarteh is unacceptable. Giving voices to those who hold the government to account is fundamental to the media's watchdog role, which is guaranteed by the Gambian Constitution, the union asserted. President Barrow in the past accused journalists of bias, and his supporters and State House staff have physically assaulted journalists in 2018 and 2021. We are reminding the President to uphold his responsibility to protect press freedom and freedom of expression as guaranteed by the laws of the Gambia, Unionist leader Mohamed Bah said. The union expressed its concern that the President's remark on Mr. Jobarteh could have the potential to stifle freedom of speech and expression. Reporting for Active TV News, I am Fatsise.
Statement by the Gambian civil society on the recent attacks on freedom of speech and expression by the President of the Republic of the Gambia. 2nd of May 2022 was Eid al-Fitr, the culmination of a month of prayer and fasting, a day marked for forgiveness and reconciliation, a day for family and friends to celebrate together, an opportunity for a nation in pain to heal and bond together. It was on this holy day that the President of our Republic decided to defile with remarks threatening to infringe on the rights and freedom of expression and speech of a citizen, the media, civil society, and indeed the nation as a whole, thereby causing division and anger across our dear motherland. A day just before World Press Freedom Day. During his message to religious elders at State House, President Barrow stated, and I quote, "Some people want to bond the country. One of them is Madi Jobarteh. He said he is from civil society," unquote, accusing a hard-working citizen of intending to set the nation ablaze, cause chaos, fitna, without an iota of evidence, is sad to say the least. He further called out the media fraternity for giving Mr. Jobarteh a platform to incite violence, which we consider to be an insult to our national intelligence. Furthermore, the President, roping in civil society in his statement, reminds us vividly of the days of dictatorship during which we, civil society, were branded enemies of the state and enemies of national development. We recall the heated political campaign season that preceded the recently held presidential elections on December 4th, 2021, during which statements were made by the President promising to clamp down the fundamental rights of Gambians if or when given a second term in office. As a matter of fact, the President's campaign had on some occasions allowed speech that was more potent to set the country on fire. Tal Dekabi. But we as a nation, notwithstanding, decided to waive those threats, taking them as mere political rhetoric, believing that a caring and responsible leader that has lived through dictatorship and all the horrors it propelled will never again allow our dear motherland to live through such brutality as was meted out to her sons and daughters. Sadly, 5 short months later, Gambian civil society, the media fraternity, and indeed a noble citizen in the person of Mr. Madi Jobarteh, are feeling the first punch of keeping his promised threat of clamping down voices of dissent. We gather in peace, as you see in our dress code, to highlight and to express our grave concern over the blatant attack on our fundamental rights and freedoms by the highest office in the land. Have Gambians forgotten so quickly how Yahya Jammeh started? How he branded anyone that spoke against him as an enemy of the state, and how he used the state machinery to instill fear and eventually silence us? Have we forgotten how people started disappearing? Have we forgotten the dark period in our history that even in the privacy of our homes, we will have to look over our shoulders before saying anything about the government, even to talk about the hardships we face? Dictatorship indeed has a start date. Civil society has not forgotten. And that is why we come today to the home of NGOs and CSOs, Tango, to demonstrate our distaste at such remarks unbecoming of a statesman. We come to remind our leaders that the horse has already bolted out from the stable. Gambians cannot go back to the days of tyranny. Never again. Mr. President, fellow compatriots, I think it is apt at this juncture to point and give you a brief history lesson, lest we forget. Who is Madi Jobarteh? Madi Jobarteh was a member of the Gambian Students' Union, GAMSU, at Forobe College in the University of Sierra Leone, and he was one-time president of the union between the academic year 1997-98. Amongst his numerous engagements, he was chief State House correspondent and later producer at Radio Gambia in the early 90s. He hosted the traditional GAMSU symposium at the Gambia High School in 1995. He was banned in 1994 from conducting the popular Saturday Current Affairs show. He was singled out in April 2000 by the then government for his uncompromising pressure on then ministers to tell the truth about the students' demonstration. As a result, the GRTS management banned Madi Jobarteh from attending government functions or interviewing the president or ministers. He joined civil society, worked for the Gambia Family Planning, the Foundation for Legal Aid Research and Empowerment, and Tango, conducted several public lectures, workshops, and symposia on human rights in the country. Under Tango, he launched a massive human rights education program across the country, targeting policymakers, National Assembly members, law enforcement agencies, local government institutions, traditional and religious leaders, as well as civil society organizations and communities. In 2016, his voice became louder and against dictatorship and in support of the coalition government led by President Barrow.
pour sonal nguur gi criticiser nguur gi pour isi fitna si réew mi kenn si ñoom nag Madi Jobarteh la moom bokk na si ñu nga xam ne bëgg nañoo taal réew mi nit la koo xam ne fitna la bëgg a isi si réew mi fii ñëpp dañ ko war a bàyyi xel man musuma tugg taxaw si plateforme pour wax affaire am moom mu ne civil society la bokk waaye civil society boo xam ne yow taal rek nga nekkee ci dëkk bi fu mu dem si plateforme pour taal dëkk bi la te journaliste yëpp ñu ngi ko jox plateforme ku ko dimbale loo réew moom dinaa ko wax personnel ku nga xam ne dimbale nga ko dimbale loo réew te suma nguur gi ñoom dew ñu war a taxaw si affaire am foog ñu seetaat affaire am bu baax a baax a baax bi ko réew mi nag du mun a doxee noonu duñ seet ku nga xam ne da ngay taal réew mi ñu bàyyi la foofu non loolu du am. am na lu bari lu nga xam ne muñel nañ ko nit ñi xam nañ ne lu ñoo def jaaduwut xam nañ lu ñoo def àndul ak yoon àndul ak loi waaye président dafay toppal loi waaye keneen tam dafa war a toppal loi loolu tax ma ne la ñu ngi wax human right du government rek individual si seen bopp ñu ngi abuse nit ñi loolu du human right loolu nag duñ ko nangooti amoon nañ 5 years boo xam ne dañ ñëw di manage nguur gi and ak different parties ñeneen di bàkku ne ñun ñoo isi président Barrow tey ñooñu yëpp noppi nañ xam nañ ne président Barrow ñooy waa Gambia ñoo ko isi léegi ñooñu ñëpp noppi nañ léegi jox jeex ne maa isi président Barrow loolu moom wax boobu jeex na kenn isi président Barrow léegi yàlla ak waa Gambia ñoo ma isi fu mu nekk nii te man si seen mbir laay doxa guddi ak bëccëg man Gambia rek laay xalaat tey kenn du bugg a Gambia passé ma man because lu baax nit ñi yëpp ñoo ko bokk waaye lu yàqu rek man kenn la kon kenn du mun a bëgg nga passé ma man kon man tey du ma bëgg a dara yàqu fii because lu yàqu rek man la lu yàqu rek président Barrow la lu baax nag ñem la ñëpp dinañ bàkku ne lii baax na man la ñëpp dinañ wax loolu waaye su bonee rek président Barrow la tey maalo bi seer na président Barrow la sukur bi seer na président Barrow la te ñoom xam nañ affaire yi naafiqa la